What's up, everybody? If you are a restaurateur and you are looking for an inventory management system, well, please watch this video. My promise is at the end of this video, you'll be able to make a good decision in investing in a restaurant inventory management system and not waste time and not waste money. All right. So my promise is that at the end of this, you'll have the tools you need and the framework you need to make the best decision for your restaurant or restaurant group. Okay. So the most common thing I hear from restaurateurs in terms of where they're currently at when it comes to looking for an inventory system is, number one, they don't have time. And I get that. I have a lot of friends in the industry and I understand that challenge. They don't have the time to really research all these tools, figure out the kinks, what works, what doesn't work, implement it, and then if it doesn't work, what do? Right? Go to the next one? No, it's too much time. So that's one I hear a lot, no time. Number two, I hear they're not sure what system to choose. So they're just not sure because everybody promises everything, right? And I see that a lot, classic marketing, everyone over promises and under deliver. So how do you know who to trust? Number three is bad experience, all right? And I can relate to this one, but don't let a bad experience make you never reinvest into a software again. So I've seen situations where restaurateurs have used a system and because it wasn't the right one, now they assume all systems are bad and nothing is better than pen and paper, which I'll explain why that's wrong, all right? Number four, you might have an Excel wizard in the house. What does that mean? It means you might have someone, or that might be yourself, that is an Excel whiz that everything is done. You have all formulas interlinking with each other. You have your inventory, you're doing your invoices, you're ordering everything through Excel. That's better than nothing. So if you're doing that, you're also in the right place because going from Excel to a system is a lot easier than going from nothing to a system. So you're in the right place, but it doesn't scale. It might be okay for a single operation, maybe somewhat of a small venue, but as you start getting larger venues or multiple venues, the last thing you want to be doing is fixing Excel spreadsheets because the formula broke or things didn't update. And the last one I hear, number five, is that it's too expensive. I always say compared to what, right? In relation to what? Because sometimes you'll hear people say it's too expensive. My internet bill is $100 a month. Well, why are you comparing an inventory software to your inventory bill? So we have to figure out compared to what, and we also got to look at what is the actual ROI. So if you had a tool that wasn't saving you time and saving you money, then it doesn't matter if it was $10 a month. That's too expensive because not saving you time and not saving you money, right? So the price is relative. So we'll get into that as well, okay? What if you can find an inventory system that was, one, easy to use, number two, easy to implement. So it didn't take your team weeks or months to implement this new system and to find out if it actually works or not. And number three, get the data you needed to actually make better decisions. My promise today is I'm going to walk you through a framework to use when evaluating different inventory softwares. All right. So my name is Angelo Esposito. I'm the CEO of WISK.ai, and we give restaurateurs their time back by streamlining a lot of their back of house operations. So quick background on WISK, we help with inventory management, ordering, invoice management, recipe costing, you name it. Point of this video isn't about WISK, it's about giving you the tools to choose a solution that makes sense for you, whether it's WISK or not. We came up with a framework, it's called the MISS framework. And the MISS framework really incorporates four key elements to look for when you're evaluating a new inventory management system. The first point of the MISS framework is measurable. What does that mean? Well, can you get accurate inventory reports? Can you get accurate variance reports? Can you truly understand your cost of goods, right? So I guess the general way to summarize that is, can you count on the data, right? Is it reporting that you can count on? And the reason that's so important is you've probably heard the saying, you can't improve what you're not measuring. Well, there's a little more to that. It's not just if you're not measuring is better than nothing, but if you're not measuring properly, is it really that much better, right? It's better than nothing, but if it's wrong and it's inaccurate, you're making decisions based off wrong numbers, right? You're ordering based on inaccurate numbers. You're assuming you lost or didn't lose money based on inaccurate numbers. So you really want to look for a tool that will check that box and say, hey, this is giving me accurate data, right? Measurable data, right? So that's number one. Number two in the MISS framework is integrations. When you want to think of integrations, right, You don't want to change everything you're doing based on an inventory management system. You kind of want that inventory management system to integrate with your ecosystem. So what does that mean? It means you might ask yourself, does it integrate with your current point of sale system? Does it integrate with your accounting system, if that's important to you? Does it integrate with your suppliers, or can it communicate in some way with your suppliers, right? Can you place orders to your suppliers? So you want to ask yourself, how does this integrate with our current ecosystem? Because even though you might solve a few problems, if it doesn't integrate with the rest, you're kind of just adding another, one more thing to worry about for your staff. Number 3, S in the MISK framework, speed. Is it faster than what you are currently doing? And unless you're doing nothing, and I always tell people this, if you're doing nothing, there's a bigger problem. If you're doing nothing, that means you have no idea what you're losing, what you have on hand, you don't know your dead stock, you probably don't know your COGS, right? So that's a whole different video. But assuming you're doing something, pen and paper, Excel, maybe using another system, you want to ask yourself, by switching or by implementing this new system, will these processes be faster? Right? And the process could be inventory, and you can measure inventory time currently versus with this system, right? Maybe time to enter invoices currently versus with this new system. You might ask yourself, in terms of speed, can you split up the work easily? Does it work in real time? Does it work offline? I've seen so many venues that will use a software, and when they're demoing, everything looks great because on their computer and on Wi-Fi, but in a real life restaurant, when you're in a fridge or a basement, and there's no Wi-Fi, what do? Right? And then you're doing double the work because you're putting it on paper and transferring it into the system. So these are things to think about when you think about speed. And the last one is support. So you want to ask yourself, if you're going to invest in a system, is that system going to be there for you? Right? So how responsive is the team? Can you easily reach them? Right? Is there a number? Is there a chat that your team can directly chat within the app or within the web portal? Can they easily assist your team and your staff remotely? Because as much as we all would love to have someone come in person, it's not scalable. Meaning if you're relying on someone to come, that means you're going to be waiting days or weeks every time there's a problem, right? You want your team, if your staff has an issue, they can reach out on the chat, talk to support, they can remote in, they can assist, and they don't have to involve you, the owner or manager, every time there's an issue or a learning, right? And then another one I like to look for is there an up-to-date help desk? So what do I mean by help desk? Well, is there an area where you can see videos, articles, self-learn, answer questions anytime, any day? And one thing I always encourage people to do is see how up-to-date it is, right? Because you'll find sometimes there's software companies that have put up some content, but it hasn't been updated in years, right? So that might be a little bit of a red flag that you want to watch out. One myth I hear all the time is, hey, my Excel version is better than the software I've used, right? Or nothing beats pen and paper. My pen and paper is better than the software I've used. I hate to burst your bubble, but think about this. If your Excel version, and I respect Excel, don't get me wrong, but if your Excel version or your pen and paper is better than the system you used, that is the number one sign that you have used the wrong system, right? And I'm laughing because I'm imagining someone using a piece of paper, and I used to do inventory, so I know how it is, and claiming that's better than the system tells me how bad that system that you chose was. And that's why this framework, the MISK framework, is key. So what I want to do for you guys is I'm going to include the MISK framework along with the checklist, right? The software checklist for inventory management systems below this video. So click on the link, totally free. It's going to go through the MISK framework, but what's nice is you're going to get an actual checklist, item by item, of what to look for when investing in a new inventory management system for your restaurant or bar. The idea here is whether you're shopping for a new one, you're maybe auditing your current one, it's a free template, download it, and you can kind of go through each item and see, are they hitting those points? And if your system is, that means you've invested in a good one. And if it's not, maybe it's something to consider. And the other thing I would say is if you're looking at new systems, this will save you a lot of time. This checklist means that you're not going to invest money, time, implementation time, ultimately to say, wow, this didn't work, and 6 months later figure that out. You can figure that out ahead of time. So download the link below. You're going to get this checklist, and I hope it's helpful.